Okay, in this video we're going to be using or looking at named ranges, data validation, the VLOOKUP function, and also the Pmt function. We're going to be using these various functions to determine the model, the price, and also the Pmt. The steps that we have to take are over here on the right, 1 through 5. Now the file that we're using is called Amazon Sales Tax, and the name of the sheet is called Pmt Validation VLOOKUP. And once again, the questions are right over here to the right. Question number 1 is we're going to create a named range. And the named range will cover A through A7. And we're going to name that range model. So the steps are: highlight the range A2 to A7. Come up here in this area right here. The name of the range will be called model. Hit enter. Now to see if that takes, I'm going to click outside over here and then go back over here and highlight model. And once again, what's happened here is that that named range has taken. It's identifying that area A2 to A7, which are basically the various car models. Next thing we're going to do, step 2, is we're going to highlight the range A2 to B7. And we're going to name that range price. Hit enter. Make sure that it takes. We're going to hit this down arrow, hit price. So it's identified a named range called price. This named range we're going to use in our VLOOKUP. Number 3, we're going to create a data validation. And the data validation is going to go into B9. So once again, we have to click within B9, and we're going to use a data validation for the model. We want to make sure that we spell those models correctly so that eventually the right price will come out. But how we go about that is we click in B9, click on the Data tab, come over here to Data Validation, hit the down arrow, and then click on Data Validation. We get a dialog box, and for this purposes we're going to change allow. We're not going to allow any value. We're going to hit the down arrow here, and what we're going to allow is a list. Once again, we're going to change that to list. For our source, well, where is the list coming from? That's what it means. Our source is coming from a named range called model. Now we could either type in that named range, model, or a good way of doing it is that while your cursor is in here, in the box, hit F3. We get our various names, and what we're looking for is model. Hit OK. It's now been inserted. A list or named range by the name of model. Hit OK. We know that our data validation has taken because we now have a down arrow located over here. And by clicking on that, we basically get a drop-down list. choose Corvette. You can choose any of the models. Malibu. Next, what we're going to do is determine the price for each model. Okay? And we're going to use the VLOOKUP function to determine the price. Now the price for each model is based upon the model itself, and then the information contained here, column 2. Let's work through that. We're in cell B10. We're going to use the VLOOKUP function. Click on f of x, VLOOKUP. The lookup value is for Malibu, which happens to be in cell B9. The table array, the actual lookup table, is right here. We've applied a named range for that lookup table, and what it's called is price. Now we could type in price or tap F3, click on price, hit OK. Third line, the column index. Where is our answer coming from for the price? Once again, the value here is that we can be looking at that table, and the answer is going to come from the second column. As you can see, our VLOOKUP table is composed of 2 columns. It's at range A2 to B7. The answer is going to come from column 2. The fourth line is our range lookup. And basically what that means is, do we want an exact match or an inexact match? And in this case, we want an exact match. And if it's an exact match, we need to type in false or 0. I'm going to type in false. Hit OK. And once again, we have our price. The Malibu is $25,000, and then, as you can see here, Malibu $25,000. Now the beauty of this is that I can change it with that VLOOKUP. Corvette, and it changes instantly for me because I'm using that VLOOKUP. I chose a Corvette, and the price of a Corvette is $53,000. Next, we're going to go into cell B13 and apply the Pmt function to see what our payments would be. F of x, Pmt. First line has to do with the interest rate, and the interest rate right here is 5% divided by 12, because there's 12 months in a year, and we will be making 12 payments. Second line has to do with the total payments. So we're going to click on 5, which happens to be in B11, multiplied by 12. It's the total payments. Lastly, the third line, the size of the loan, how much you're going to be taking out. And that third line should always begin with a negative sign. Click on our 53,000. Click on OK. The beauty here, once again, because of the VLOOKUP function that we're using and also the data validation, is that we can go up here, choose another model, cruise. It's changed to cruise, it's changed to price. And then also the payment. So whatever we put in for the model, that's the PMT that will be determined. Thank you.